Time now to take a look at what's been making headlines in the French press with Haxi Myers-Belkin. It's fair to say that there's really only one story dominating the news
Well,
today.
no surprises there. Last night I was hoping that I'd be able to come into work today with a little tricolour flag painted on my cheek, but sadly it was not to be. France losing to Portugal in the European Championships at the Stade de France last night, of course dominating the French press today. Aujourd'hui en France has gone with a picture of the jubilant Portuguese national team, hands raised in a celebration, with Ronaldo there holding up the cup that could so easily have been awarded to the French team. C'était pas notre jour, it wasn't our day, laments the headline. As for L'Équipe, France's most respected sports paper, they've gone for accablé, defeated or downtrodden. History will not be repeated, reads this front page. No return to the glory days of 1998 and 2000 for the French national team.
And Libération is taking a similarly downcast view.
It is. This paper's gone for a picture of the back of a crestfallen Griezmann holding his head in his hands next to the headline, Comme des Bleus. Les Bleus, of course, an affectionate term for the French national team. But there's also a little bit of a play on words here. Jouer comme un bleu also means to act like an amateur. A rather scathing analysis here then. The paper's saying here that despite the early departure of Ronaldo due to injury, which really should have boosted the French, France went on to lose 1-0 to a pragmatic and, it must be said, determined Portuguese national team.
And you mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo's injury early on in the match when he collided with French golden boy Dimitri Payet. But the ref didn't call a foul, did he?
He didn't, but hell hath no fury as a mother scorned. Cristiano Ronaldo's mum, who was watching the match at the Stade de France, took a slightly different view of things. This article in the Huffington Post quotes a tweet posted by Dolores Aveiro just minutes after her son was taken off the pitch on a stretcher. She uses the opportunity to remind Payet of the rules of football, writing that, "I can't see my son like that. The game's about hitting the ball, not about injuring your opponent." And she goes on, "My son's left the pitch, but we can win. I'm confident we can win." And she was, of course, proved right, with Eder's decisive goal in the second period of extra time.
But it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, in the French papers today, there's one editorial in Le Figaro that's casting last night's match as a huge success.
Absolutely. This piece says that it was tempting to assume that after the French Euros victories of 1984 and 2000, this one would be more or less in the bag. But it turns out that victory every 16 years isn't in fact a given. According to the author, France has every right to dry its tears because the team has made the country proud. It's not just the excellent playing, but also the exceptional attitude displayed by the French team over the past few years.
But not everyone's taking such an optimistic view. Let's return for a moment to the Parisien, which talks of bitter disappointment.
Under the headline, Tellement cruel, which translates roughly as just so cruel. One article in this paper puts last night's match in the wide context of French society, and it's definitely worth a read. It says that while football certainly isn't a cure for any economic crisis or societal rift, it can and often does act as a sort of social balm, is the term they use here, that can help soothe people's day-to-day worries and bring communities together. Now, the article says that balm will be notably absent in France today, despite the recent hope and excitement, of course, generated by France's astounding 2-0 win against Germany at the semi-finals.
And they've put that along a rather amusing cartoon.
They have. We see here, we did just a second ago, a hunched and forlorn François Hollande, still sporting a tricolour wig, there we go, addressing an equally frustrated Prime Minister Manuel Valls. "We've lost," he says. "It's going to affect French morale. It'll hit the economy too." To which Manuel Valls says, "C'est l'effet papillon, is it the butterfly effect?"
A tongue-in-cheek reference, I suppose, to the month that was propelled to international stardom during last night's match.
Absolutely. Ronaldo was, of course, taken out on a stretcher in the 25th minute, and as he sat on the grass clutching his knee in agony just 15 minutes before, and we have HD television to thank for this, a large and rather stubborn moth began hovering around his right eye. And as you might imagine, Twitter had a field day, Within minutes, dozens of Twitter accounts had popped up in homage to Ronaldo's Moth. And the general prevalence of moths at the Stade de France was widely commented on. My favourite tweet questioned whether it was actually the Euros we were watching or a nature documentary about moths.
Well, I was wondering if that's why they watered the field at halftime. Yeah, I'd never seen that happen. I was thinking they're trying to drown the moths.
As opposed to keeping the moths happy.
And it looked like he was giving a little kiss to Ronaldo.
Not quite sure that's what he was focusing on.
I don't know what he was focusing on. Well, thank you very much, Taxi.
Pleasure.